On my previous video, I talked about why you should believe in evolution. I'm now going to give you some evidence to help you with that. These are primary things. There's a whole lot more. As I said, there's lots in my book. There's books out there. There's wonderful research places, creation research, that are doing a great job. But these are four things I see as serious problems with evolution. The first one is, where did the universe come from? We know from what we've discovered that the universe had a beginning. It's not eternal. The problem is, where did it come from? Stephen Hawking was a genius, but he said one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. He said, because we know there's such thing as gravity, we know that the universe could create itself. The problem with that is matter creates gravity. Gravity doesn't create matter. And a high school student knows that. The universe cannot come from nothing. That's impossible. It's kind of ridiculous. And so that in and of itself shoots down naturalism. The second thing is where did life come from? Now, I know they say there was a pool of water and chemicals came together and lightning and electricity and stuff formed it. Yeah, not likely. The problem is life is far more complex than what Darwin thought. See, when Darwin started, all they knew was cells were little bitty blobs. But now, thanks to modern scientific equipment, we know that they are incredible machines, that a living cell is amazing. Now, here's the question. If, by any chance, a cell was created by accident, we know that life has to consume something for energy. Usually it's dead matter, but there was no dead matter. What would it live off of? Chemicals? Not likely. The second thing is, how did it learn to reproduce? I mean, that's an incredible process. If somehow this thing formed, it would have died instantly. It would not have survived. Life is complex, and the world is complex. And it's impossible for life to have started from nothing. The third thing is DNA. And I know this is a big one that's talked about. DNA is a complex program. And it demonstrates a creator. It could not have happened by accident. It's impossible. Completely impossible. And they've tried to explain it in different ways. Some people try to say, well, aliens planted here. Well, where did the aliens come from? You're still stuck with the beginning. DNA is the fingerprint of God. And the other thing, and I know a lot of evolutionists argue with this, but you've got to understand my argument. Where did the mind of man come from? We are more than mere animals, and we know this. Imagination is amazing. One of my favorite quotes is Albert Einstein, and he said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Now, let me help you understand that. Knowledge is important. He's not saying knowledge is not important, but without imagination, there's no creation. See, I think one of the things that God gave us in his image is the ability to create. And look at the amazing things that man has created. Yes, I know that God put it there for us to create. God was the original creator, and I don't want to get into some kind of argument about that. But the fact is, no animals created anything. Our minds are incredibly complex. I was reading about one guy who was talking about if a person has a brain injury and loses part of their brain, we do not say they're half a human. So we understand instinctively that the human being is far more than just the chemical reaction in the brain. We are far more than the sum of our parts, and we know that to be true, and everyone does. So how do you explain man? You can't through evolution. It's absurd. Maybe an amoeba, but from cells to man is impossible. And there's no reason to believe in this ridiculous story. And yes, I know that offends some of you. I'm sorry. But you've got to look at it from a logical point of view. Creation is not blind belief. It is belief in an eyewitness record. No, I'm not saying Moses eyewitnessed it. He wrote Genesis. But God gave him the story. And God saw it. He was there. And he tells us the whole thing. And yes, it does work with what we know and what we understand. In fact, the biblical flood explains things far more than anything else that people see in formations of like the Grand Canyon and other formations cannot be explained through evolution. They can only be explained through a worldwide flood. We have to take a stand for the truth of God, Christians. This is not for the atheist. This is not for an evolutionist. They're going to believe because blind faith is part of what they have. But you and I don't have blind faith. I know we're told, yes, well, you just believe because you want to believe. No, I believe because of the facts. I know that there's an empty tomb. I know that the world is only is around 6,000 years old because science says that. And I'll do a video later on that, why we know the earth is young. I know that there is a God because I know him personally. Believe in the Bible. Teach your children to believe in the Bible. The world is trying to teach them the cult of evolution and destroy their minds. Don't let them. Teach them the truth. Read them stories about creation. I encourage you to give your young people a copy of my book, Hidden in Plain Sight. It will help them understand they don't have to buy into the professors who are trying to force them to believe in evolution. You're not stupid for believing in creation. In fact, Christians tend to be far more intelligent. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, as my dad used to say. You guys have a great day. God bless, and thank you for listening.